Welcome to tonight's topic about getting your life back. A lot of times in life we go through really difficult things, and so I just want to share some tips that I've learned myself and picked up from other people and offer them to you to be able to take the craziness in your life, the overwhelm, the anxiety, the fear, the frustrations, and chunk them down into bite-sized pieces so that you can get moving forward again. Breathe again, relax, feel balanced, and make that craziness calm. Sometimes chaos it's just part of life, right? We get things thrown at us that are outside of our current capabilities, but I think that if you watch through the next few slides, you're going to see some really easy 1, 2, 3 kind of steps that are going to help you to be able to get out of that cycle faster and easier. And the more you practice, just like any other skill, the better you get at it. So let's cover some of these that will help you take your chaos and just get them back calm again so you can be balanced and happier, more effective, freer. I don't know how many of you seek freedom, but I sure as heck do. And anxiety, depression, fear never feel like freedom. So let's go for the better emotions. Now, if you need to get a hold of us, we're all over the internet now. We're on Facebook. Our business page is at Accelerated Real Estate Investing. Our website is iliveaccelerated.com. You can always reach me at 801-809-2764. It is best to text instead of leaving a voicemail because that voicemail gets filled up pretty quickly. So if you can just shoot a text, introduce yourself, let me know if you're looking for a free consultation or if you need some coaching. We do life coaching, business coaching, real estate coaching, and I'll introduce some more of those things at the end of tonight's session. But in the meantime, if you feel like partway through this, I really need somebody to walk me through these steps and really practice until they become habits, that's what we're here for. Lifelong coaches, been coaching for most of our adult lives, so we're happy to help you. We feel blessed to be able to do it and take some of the craziness in other people's lives and calm them down. So know that we are here to serve you and we are happy to do so. Let us know what we can do for you. We are on YouTube and Instagram, same name, I Live Accelerated, no spaces in between. And you can find a lot of little short clips if you just have a minute or 2 or 3. If you have an hour or 2, you can go on that YouTube channel and study to your heart's content. There are lots of videos on there, everything from time management to money management, things like this that are very life-oriented, and lots of things on real estate investing. So go and see what's on there. And if you like it, go ahead and subscribe. The more videos we do, we'll just continue to post them out on the YouTube channel, and also little clips on Instagram. This is one of my favorite things I've ever heard. And I will tell you, when I have a hard day, I just wake up and it just feels hard for some reason. A little heaviness, a little bit of overwhelm. I remember learning this. And it is that if you do one thing that day with intention, if you just get up and you say, I'm going to make the bed the best that I can, I'm going to straighten it all out and make it good, you've done something, you've accomplished something, and that creates momentum in your life. It creates that sense of accomplishment that we all crave and desire. So no matter how busy, crazy my day is, if I can just stop and say, what is the one most important thing I can do today? Or what is just one thing, period, that I can set as a goal and accomplish? And that creates a lot of positive energy. Remember that your words are very powerful. Everything starts up here. Before there is any action, it has seeds in your thoughts. So track where your thoughts are coming from. And one thing that indicates what your thoughts are your words. Whatever you are speaking came from somewhere up in here. So if you hear yourself saying a lot of negative things, judgmental things, self-defeating words coming out of your mouth, remember that it's time to clean up your thoughts. Whenever you can think good things, intend good things, plan for good things, take action on good things, this creates more and more positive thoughts. More and more positive words will come out of your mouth, and therefore more and more positive results will show up in your life. There are a couple of quotes that I really love from Susan Jeffers' book, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. This is one of my favorites. Each time you can see the gift in life's obstacles, you can handle difficult situations in a rewarding way. Each time you have the opportunity to stretch your capacity to handle the world, the more powerful you become. If you dissect some of those words, especially that part about each time you have the opportunity to stretch your capacity. So if you notice, that doesn't mean that you're absolutely capable of doing everything that comes your way immediately. You might have to pull in some extra resources. You may have to develop some new habits. You might have to learn some new skills, and that's okay. You've been doing it since you were born. You've been learning how to tie your shoe, ride a bike, feed yourself, go to the bathroom by yourself, self-soothe. There are all sorts of things that you already do that you learned one little skill at a time. So now, as adults, there are some other life skills that might serve you very well in order to help you move past your stuck. So whenever you feel stuck, remember that there are things you can do, but the most important thing that you can do is take action. Now, there's some things you want to do ahead of time, and we're going to get to that in the next few slides about prioritizing and figuring out what is most important to do. But indecision is a killer. Indecision doesn't mean that you're not making a decision. You are. You're making a decision by default, and that does not always, in fact, I would venture to say, seldom to never brings the kind of results that you actually will want. So if you find yourself being indecisive, likely you are not listening to yourself, to your intuition. If you peel away the what will other people think, if you peel away, I'll probably just fail anyway, you peel away all of the negative thoughts that are layered over top of those choices. And if you can get to the core decision about what is best for you in this moment, you don't have to know long term, nobody does. You just have to make the best decision with all the facts and information and intuition mixed together that you have currently available to you. So this indecision, this procrastination is a killer. Make sure that whether it's conscious or unconscious, indecision does not guide your life or guess what you're going to end up with at the end of that life. Something that you're probably not very happy with. So the challenge is, and what I will absolutely challenge you to do as you're watching through this, get out a notebook or a pad of paper or something and take notes. Decide, as we're talking through things, what do you want your life to be? If you can visualize where you want to be a year from now, where you want to be 5 years from now, what you want retirement to look like, what do you want your love life to look like? What do you want your health and your body to look like? These are all things that are, they're important to our happiness. Don't ever underestimate that your happiness matters. If you can picture a planet where everyone honors everyone else, starting with themselves, and they treat themselves as someone that has a very important mission on this earth, with skills and something to contribute, then we're getting somewhere. Now we can have a planet where people are generally happy and these challenges that we have don't weigh us down. And if they do weigh us down for just a minute, maybe we turn to a friend, maybe we turn to the Lord, maybe we turn to a family member and we ask for help, but we all love and support each other. And we first start by loving ourselves and supporting ourselves. That is critical to happiness. So let's go into how do you do that? Here are some of the steps I was talking about. Now, this 1, 2, 3 has gotten me out of bed, gotten me past anxiety, depression, and fear more times than I can even count at this point. And it's simple. You might read these steps and say, well, of course, that's easy. But do you actually do them? If you feel like maybe your business is crumbling, your relationship is crumbling, things external to you are pushing in on you, The best thing you can do is make sure that every single day you're staying clear in your head, you're focused, you're aware of what you want, you are keeping yourself healthy mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, and using this as part of that process, then you're less likely to fall apart and actually do things that you're not super proud of or that really don't bless your business or your kids or your life at all. So, step one, it's time to clear your head. I just grab a yellow pad. That's my favorite go-to. Some people do it on the computer, maybe in a Word doc, in a notebook. It doesn't matter. Just do something that works for you. Find something that is a tool for you to use. So mine is the yellow pad, and I just start writing down everything I can think of. I need to do this, forgot to do that. I'm stressed about this, need to call so-and-so. And I write and write and write and write until my head starts to release the pressure. Because I don't know about you, but when I'm really overwhelmed, it's like everything is swirling around in my head. I can't think straight. I can't focus because there are too many things between the ears. And so the best thing that I can do to start with is just get those things out of my head, down on paper, one at a time. And that allows me to release them because I know if I can see them and organize them and schedule them and then get busy on them, I don't need to keep them swirling in my head. The swirl is really counterproductive. It doesn't do really any good at all. So grab your notebook, write down every single thing that you can think of that is swirling in your head, bothering you. Step number two, go back over that list and prioritize. Look through and see what things are most urgent. And some people ask me, well, how do I know if it's urgent or important? I don't really know how to prioritize. So I offer you this. If it's something that is going to very quickly affect your budget, your children, your health, even maintenance on a car, maybe you're way past on an oil change. I just had a son who forgot to put oil in his car for a while, and now he has a very expensive engine repair. Is it better to stop and say, car maintenance is a priority, and I'm going to spend that $50 on an oil change, or I'm going to maybe buy a new motor for $4,000 or fix it for $1,500? You have to remember that certain things need to be done to maintain life, maintain the house, maintain the bank account, maintain dental work, maintain, your physical body, going to the doctor, whatever you can do to stay healthy in all the different categories. And I'm so excited. We're going to cover the categories in a little bit. But what I wanted to tell you is that as you're looking through that list and you're figuring out, is this really that important? Is an oil change really that important? Well, if it's been a while and you're overdue or coming up on your due date, yes, it's important. Now, it might be able to wait until next week, and I tend to separate things that way. So if you have your paper in front of you, go down and look for the 5 or 10 things that are going to cause other problems if they don't get done soon. To me, that's urgent. A bill that's not going to get paid so the light gets shut off, or they're going to charge you a $25 late fee or whatever is going to cost you more. Those things are urgent. Things that can wait until maybe the next week, so they need to get done and pretty soon, but maybe not today or tomorrow, that would go in the important category. Now, I've seen this done a couple of different ways. I like to schedule things according to like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I like my numbers in order. But you could put number ones or stars by all the most urgent things, and number twos or maybe a little check by all of the important things. However you do it, find your own system to identify what's urgent, what's important, and then the rest, it can just sit on that paper. Leave it in the notebook. It's not important yet. So this is where you let some things go. You're one person. Sure, you can delegate some things, you can hire some things out, but there are certain things that are not that important that are just weighing on you. And this is true with everybody. Every single person I've ever done life coaching with or business coaching with, there are always things that can wait. And a lot of times people are stressed about those things, but it's not worth it. So let them go. That's why I put it in bold right there. Let those things go. They don't serve you right now. And you only have today to worry about. Literally, you only have today. You only have this moment. So you take a deep breath and you figure out, what can you do in this moment? And then you do that. And that's not everything all at once. It's never going to be everything all at once, because remember, you're one person with two hands, one brain, two eyes, one mouth. You can only do so many things at once. And I do believe it was designed that way. We're not designed to do everything all at once. So don't put that pressure on yourself. Number 3, schedule those items. So what I do is take my to-do list and I put it over onto my planner and I start merging the two. So on my planner, it's okay, Friday I have this appointment, and Thursday night I need to make sure that I do those slides. And then I lay them all out for the week and things that are going on to next month. Like I already have appointments 2-3 months ahead, so I can put those in there. Dental appointments, coaching appointments, anything that I have that I know ahead of time, I put them in as far as I can. So get all of those things that are on the paper onto your calendar. But then once they're on there, remember, you just do the things that are there for the day. So at nighttime, before you go to sleep, you can review what's coming up the next day, see if you need to shift anything around. And then you can go to sleep peacefully, knowing that right now, all I have to do is just sleep, rest my body, let my brain relax, do the REM cycle, let my body clean itself at nighttime, let my brain clean itself so that when I wake up in the morning, I'm the most refreshed, efficient person that I can be. And then in the morning, you grab that schedule and you've already got your day lined out for you. So you're not scrambling and running around. One other common question I get is, well, what do I do with emergencies? Well, emergencies obviously have to go in there. So whatever was scheduled in that time, you've now got to find a new time to do that. Maybe you delegate that also. If it's something someone else can do and you didn't have time to do it, see if someone else can. Especially in times of emergency, a lot of people are willing to help. So you've got your plan of action. Every morning you wake up and you get busy, you do the things that you can do. Make sure you have scheduled breaks in there so that things don't overlap and get really stressful. You don't just run from one thing to the next, but schedule them as tightly as you can with breaks in between to have a balanced day. A little bit of time for you, a little bit of time for your kids, spouse if you're married, even if it's just a little bit before bed. I have heard, and hopefully this relieves some pressure from some of you, I know it did from me, the most important times with your kids are the first 3 to 5 minutes when they wake up and the last 3 to 5 before they go to bed. So if you don't have the blessing or the luxury to be able to spend hours and hours with them right now, make sure you touch base with them and make those 3 to 5 minutes count. Same with your spouse. Maybe you don't have a 4-hour block to have date night that night. You're working or they're working and you're cleaning up the house or whatever you're doing, but make sure that there is some quality time in there. Here are a couple of questions I have at the end of my self-assessment sheet. I love these questions because it allows me to focus in, especially if I feel like, oh, I have so many things that are pressing in right now. These 2 questions help me narrow that overwhelm down to a couple of tangible things. And then it brings it from unconscious to conscious. So your biggest struggle ahead of you this week, if that's time management, then you're going to focus first on your time management. If that's disconnection or disharmony in your relationship with your spouse or your kids, you're going to spend some extra time on that. If your business is upside down and maybe your books are behind, your accounting is bad, you're going to focus some time for that. So whatever that biggest struggle is, make sure that that's the priority for the week in general. And maybe that week, you're a little heavy on some category hours for certain parts of your life, and you're lightening up on the rest. Maybe you don't have so much alone time that week or as much friend time, as much service time. Maybe your service is to yourself or your kids or the household. Maybe it's to your spouse because you guys aren't doing that well. So you have to really look at your life and say, where am I a little bit out of balance? And what can I do to bring that category back into balance? And then the other thing that I like to just pause on for a minute is the time to celebrate, because every week you do something good. So what was your biggest success last week? The more you think about your successes, the more you're going to have them. That's so important. I'm going to repeat that. The more you focus on those successes, the more you celebrate them, the more you talk about them, feel them, let that success in, the more successes you're going to have. That's how it works. You reap what you sow, and that's even and especially in your thoughts. So if you find that you're always saying, not good enough, oh, I should have done more, oh, I just never get enough done, you're always going to continue to reap, didn't get enough done. There honestly is a point where you can shift, maybe immediately, maybe after a few weeks, months, or years, but you will get there if you want to, and if you focus on it, to where you can say, you know what, I did my best today, and it was good enough, and I'm good enough, and I celebrate my accomplishments. I celebrate my success. I celebrate who I am. You can get there. And doesn't that just feel a lot better? Even just hearing those words, it sounds a lot better to me than, I never have enough time to do that. I never get enough done. It just has a whole different energy to it. So be conscious of where your thoughts are. Be conscious of the words coming out of your mouth, like we talked about earlier. And this is one way, this is one of those tips that I'm sharing with you. It looks like a simple little sentence. It is a powerful question to ask yourself and answer. Your biggest success last week. And you can do that every day. What was the best thing I did today? Was it letting something go? Was it not getting angry when normally I would? Was it acknowledging my child and giving them a hug instead of condemning them for what they didn't do? Praise them for what they did do. Maybe they cleaned their room. Maybe they did the dishes without being asked. Maybe they were kind to one of their friends or their siblings. There's so many good things that our kids do too, and we should be praising them. But we as parents as well can use that as a success in our lives. If we saw it, we recognized it, and we commented and rewarded that success in our kids. That's also a success for us. So win-win. Love it, love it, love it. So let's go to the next one. This is the part I was excited to get to, because this self-assessment for me has made a huge difference in my life. It's another one of those things where, just like with the brain dump, I have all this going in my head, and sometimes I feel like I'm just not doing well at everything, and I have to remind myself, but I am doing really well at some things, and I'm doing my best, so it's good enough. Now, that being said, there are always things that we can do to improve, and I'm very, very big on self-improvement, if you haven't picked up on that yet. I really think that we can learn more, we can try harder, we can forgive ourselves more, and maybe try harder the next day. So it doesn't mean that every time you try something, you succeed. I equate that very similarly to riding a bike. If you get on the bike and you try and you fall off, was that a success or a failure? Well, in my mind, it is a success because you got on the bike and you tried and you did what you could. You didn't just try in your head, you put effort into it. And these are the things that improve our skills, that help us to grow, that challenge us. So in these categories, what you're going to do is identify 1, 2, 3 things you can do in each of these categories every single week to improve. So in your self-care, what do you need to do? Do you need to go give yourself a pedicure? Do you need to take a bath and just relax and do a little self-nurturing? Do you need to lay down and read a book and just relax? Do you need to go walk outside on the grass? Do you need to go to the park? What is it that you need? What does your soul need? This is where you make sure that you are doing well. You're not expecting your husband or your wife to take care of you. You're not expecting everything from everybody else. You're saying, I can do this for myself. I love and I honor myself enough to take time, maybe to exercise. Exercise fits in the self-care category. So what is it that is just for your person? And here's the promise I can give you with this. I've seen it time and time and time again. If you take better care of yourself, you will take care of those around you better. So just remember, if you feel like you're being a little bit selfish, oh, I don't have time to go get my hair done, even though my roots are 6 inches gray, or I don't have time to exercise, I have to get the dishes done and the laundry done. You're just making excuses to not take care of yourself. And the better you feel and the best that you can make your person will automatically spill out over into the other categories of your life, into service for the Lord, into your love life being more whole and complete, into your family. Your kids will notice. My kids always called me out if I if I was a little on the grouchy side. As they got old enough, they would ask me, "When's the last time you ate, Mom? Have you had anything to drink today?" Because I would get a little hangry. And so there are just things that we need to do. Eating regularly, keeping our metabolism up. All of those things fit into self-care, and it spills over into even your day job. How focused are you at work? How well do you do your work? How efficient are you? How pleasant are you to be around? The happier you are on the inside, the more pleasant you're going to be around everybody else at your job. And same with your business. Your business will grow. So I can't emphasize this number one enough. And it's why I specifically put it up there at the top. Spiritually, whatever your given, chosen spiritual life is, honor that. Exercise it, practice it. Your love life needs attention. Love is a living, growing thing. If you don't give it attention, it will die. At the very least, it will wither and it will not be peppy and fulfilling. So this needs time. One little side note on this, if you have not read or studied a little bit about the 5 love languages, it's really, really, really helpful for relationships to understand how you can best honor the other person that is your primary partner in life, and giving them, showing them love in a way that they can best hear it, see it, feel it, and receive it. It's also kind of fun just to know what your major love languages are, so that if people say, you know, what would you like for your birthday? You can say, oh, I'd like a foot rub, or I'd like a new ring. Do you like gifts? Do you like quality time together? Do you like massages? You know, touch. Touch is one of the primary love languages. So what is it that you want? And this comes back to the more clear you are about what you want, and the more you can easily ask for that with clarity, then the easier it is for people around you to give you that. And it goes both ways in every relationship. So that's just a little side note. You might want to get on Amazon or somewhere online and buy the 5 love languages if you haven't read that yet. And then family time, friends time. And it doesn't mean you have to go out with friends every day, especially the older you get. You might have, you know, a phone call a week with a friend, or you might go to lunch one day a month with a friend. Some guys I know like to go golfing with their friends, or they join a sports league together, whatever it is they like to do. That's great. Find someone that understands you, can hear you, and makes you feel valued as a friend. These are very important, especially in times with grief and loss. You know, if a spouse dies or you get divorced, your friends and your family are going to pick up the rest of that, the rest of the slack in your life. And a lot of that is irreplaceable. You can't go and buy that kind of trust and love and friendships that have been built over years and years through the good times and the bad times. So if you establish and then nurture those friendships now to carry you through the hard times, it just makes everything so much easier. So I really, really recommend, some people I know, not too many, thankfully, but if you say, I don't really have any close friends, well, again, back to that reaping and sowing. Are you a friend to someone else? Do you give time? Do you give attention? Do you help them? Do you encourage them and support them? Because the more people you do that for, the more people are going to do it back for you. It's just the law. And it's not that one person you're sowing into might offer you a direct harvest back in your life. But if you scatter those seeds of friendship, you'll give some places, others will give back to you. And that kind of sowing into the community as a whole, or into humanity as a whole, will reap you those benefits of friendship. Now, your day job, it's important, right? It pays your bills. And you don't have to just go to go to work all grouchy. Maybe there are one or two things you can do at your day job that will increase your enjoyment at work, your ability to help others, your potential to get a raise, because the value you give into your day job is more than the minimum. So go above and beyond. Do your very best. Treat it like it's your own business. So as long as you work for someone else, this day job is still going to need attention, just as if it were your own business. Like down here, if you do have a side business, or maybe your business is all you do, good for you if you've been able to maintain that. But most people are going to still be in the category where they have a day job, and there is nothing wrong with that. You don't have to be your own business owner, but here's what I would like to get into your head. If you treat your day job as if you are the business owner, you're going to be happier and more fulfilled in that job, and things come to people. Promotions come more quickly to the people who put the value into the company. And then money. What are you doing with money? Have you been through your bank statements lately? Have you cut things out of your budget that you don't need? Have you downsized the budget? Have you put some of that money you've saved over into paying off debt? If you're debt free, are you putting all of that money into investing? Most people, and this is something that other people have studied and researched, not me, but I completely believe it, and I found it true in my own budget when I heard this. That is, most American families have at least $500 a month of extra wasteful spending in their budget. That's a lot of money. That's $6,000 a year. If you take that $6,000 a year and pay off the debt, it just saves you all that money in the long run of interest that you're paying. If you're debt free and you take that $6,000 and just the $6,000, that's just wasteful. You can probably do some other things too and make it, say, $10,000 a year. And you put that into some investments, then that's going to be able to grow and help you get to the retirement level that you want to. So these are the general categories of life: self-care, spirituality, your love life, your family, your friends, your day job, your money and finances, and your business if you have one or two or three of them. Now, let's talk about your body. Remember, we're talking about tips and skills to be able to bring the chaos in your life into the realm of calmness. One of the most important things I start with, and yes, it's good in the middle and the end too, but if I start by calming down my body, my physical world, it seems to absolutely trickle over into the mental and emotional world. So deep breathing, it's cleansing, it's relaxing. Just try it right now. Just take 10 deep breaths, as deep as you can, and out. If you've studied yoga or anything like it, you will know that cleansing out the old first and then refilling with the new is the way they do it. So we're going to start that way. We're going to just go out, and keep going until you get the bottom of your lungs. You can feel it to where you usually breathe shallowly, but when you start doing this, you squeeze a little bit more and a little bit more out, and then you refill. And again. Now on this third or fourth one that you're doing, that's about the time I can usually feel my shoulders start to drop. A lot of people, I know it's not just me because my chiropractor and my massage therapist have told me, most people, when they get stressed, their shoulders go like this. So we carry a lot of stress in our necks and our shoulders and our backs. So continue to breathe in and out till you get to your 10, or out then in, till you get to your 10 breaths. And then just feel the difference. Is your mind relaxing? Can you feel your stress level coming down a notch? Can you feel your muscles relaxing? That's a good place to start. Another one that I really, really love is at the bottom, and this is get a snack and hydrate. So this is one of those things that I learned more from my kids than they learned from me. But that part about eating periodically to keep your blood sugar steady, to keep your energy high, it really is important. And if your body even drops 2% in hydration, it can affect your thinking. So if you feel like you have brain fog, you can't think clearly, get yourself some water. I'm not going to go into all of the details about the types of water and should you put electrolytes in your water and all of that. That's a whole nother conversation. So just for tonight, we're just going to lump it into one group category and say hydrate. However you choose to do that, great. But everybody needs a certain amount of water every single day. Make sure that you're getting enough. And I will tell you from personal experience, just taking care of those two things can immediately lower my stress level a good 50% before I even get busy tackling some of the stuff on my to-do list. So this part about getting your body calm, very, very important. Now, putting on the music, stretching, they can just be little stretches. If you're sitting at the desk, my chiropractor has taught me a few things to do as far as stretching and relaxing my shoulders and my chest. You don't even necessarily have to stand up. So it's good to stand up though, personal opinion, but definitely stretch one way or another. Get down on the ground, lay flat, do the ones that you learned in gym class as a kid. At least that's where I learned them, where you stretch your legs across and you go side to side. That feels really good, especially if you've been sitting at a desk for a lot, for any length of time. And then just going on a walk. It doesn't have to be a fast walk, just kind of a relaxing walk. 5-10 minutes. You'll notice that I'm not talking about anything big here. These are all quick, easy things to do. A phone call can be a quick one. Hey, how are you doing? I was thinking about you. I miss you. It can be a long one. Oh, I need to just have somebody listen to me and care about me. And you have a long conversation. Great. If you have the time to do that, do it. But that one is more about the connection. It's about taking action to reach outside of yourself, get outside of your head, and interchange energies. Listen to how they're doing. Let them listen to how you're doing. Be a friend, a love, and a support to each other. Meditation, that's really just connecting with God. A lot of this is connecting with your body, connecting with someone that cares about you, connecting with your higher power. Everything in here is about getting that mind to quiet down, getting the body still, and getting to a place where you are definitely thinking more clearly. And when you do, you can move to the next section. Okay, now it's time to actually do something. All of these things require some action. That can just be sitting and being together, but that's an action. Maybe you and your spouse just go sit on the porch swing or go to the park and just sit on a bench and just be. You don't have to talk necessarily. You can just hold hands. Time with God, time with yourself, time with your family, and this can be close family, immediate family, or extended family, time with your spouse or your partner, and time with your friends. So this is where I would recommend, especially if you get into chaos often, or you feel like you're in anxiety, depression, frustration often, that really is just the subcategories, I guess, of what I would call chaos. These things should go on a list somewhere. So I use these little sticky notes all the time. I love them. Whoever invented these, mwah, love you. So what I do, and I remember this after my first divorce. I'll grab a pen here. Well, you probably can't see on my little screen anyway, but I made a little list of things. When I'm really sad, what can I do? And one of my top ones was dancing. So sometimes that was time with myself. I oftentimes went dancing alone. And sometimes it was with friends. I remember it was after I was divorced, so it definitely wasn't with my spouse. If you have a spouse that's willing to go dancing with you, well, you better give them a big fat hug and tell them that you're thankful for them, because that's a rarity in this world and from all the relationships I know. But it doesn't mean you can't find a friend or two that loves to go dancing and go with them. Remember, this is about what makes you happy, and dancing made me happy. So I did it with or without anybody else. And then one of my other things, you'll notice in a lot of my videos, if you listen to them, I love baths. Oh, they're just, to me, so relaxing. And I have a lot of friends who hate baths. They don't like to be in, well, that's probably too much information, but they don't like to be in their own dirt, is what they've said. But I don't feel that way. I put in the bubbles and I like the candles, and you can always rinse off afterwards. It's extremely relaxing. And so not only does it make my body feel relaxed and calm, it makes my heart feel happy. And remember, that's what we're focusing on here. What makes you happy? Because if you think about vibrations, those of you that already know about vibrations, excellent. This will just be a quick reminder. Those of you who've never heard about it before, we are all energy. So sometimes when you're feeling low, your energy vibrates at a very low frequency. All of these things that make you happier increase your vibration. Maybe you're up here after you take a bath, and then you read a positive book instead of a trash novel, and then your vibration goes up to here. So you continue to vibrate higher and higher, and yes, it goes up and down. You never stay really high or really low, because we're not designed to stay in the same place. We're constantly moving up or down, up or down. That's how we're built. But as long as you are consciously focusing on vibrating at a higher frequency, these kinds of things will continue to draw you closer to your highest and best vibrational frequency. So I would encourage you to make your own little list. What do you want? Because I put on bath for sure, and then visiting with a friend. And I'll tell you what, when I'm sad, lonely, depressed, my first instinct is just to retreat. And I don't want to talk to anybody. But I can tell I'm getting a little bit healthier and moving past it when I'm willing to pick up that phone and call a friend and have a conversation. It means I'm willing to connect. And sometimes initially I don't want to. But when I hear their voice or I talk to them, and maybe we go get an ice cream, or maybe we just talk on the phone, it doesn't matter if you see them face to face all the time. But again, we are made to connect. If we were not made to connect in order to be our happiest and healthiest, we would not be born into families. We're born into family units for a reason. And yes, some of your families are extremely dysfunctional, so you may have to make your own family unit out of people that love and support you, right? So your birth family doesn't necessarily have to be your closest, tight-knit family that you rely on as you continue to go through this life. But connection is important, no matter when or where you find that, how you find it. If you don't have a lot of it, create it. Remember, you reap what you sow. Sow into others, you will reap the connection and the support and love from others the more you give it to other people. All right, so let's go to one of my other favorite quotes. Now, I used to think fear was always bad. I don't even know when I was probably in my 30s before I realized, oh, this fear stuff, it's actually kind of useful. It identifies to me where I'm a little stuck, and it gives me the opportunity to overcome that. So sometimes it takes me getting just frustrated as heck before I'll just burst through that layer of fear. But I love this quote from Joseph Campbell. The dark night of the soul comes just before revelation, when everything is lost and all seems darkness. Then comes the new life and all that is needed. So when you feel down, when you feel dark, know that on the other side of that is light and progress and strength and new skills. So if you're always looking for the gift, if you're always knowing that it will come, even if you can't see it in the middle of your struggles, but you believe it will come and you're looking for it, don't expect it to come and just knock you over the head. You have to train your eyes and your heart and your soul to look for those things. But the more that you train it, the more you'll see them. And the beautiful, beautiful gifts in all of our struggles are there. And at the very, very least, which is not a little gift at all, you will receive compassion for others going through it. Even if you can't understand or see yet the wisdom or the gift in what you have just been through, your ability to be compassionate to other people in that same situation is a gift in and of itself. So think about this quote from Susan Jeffers again. The only way to get rid of the fear of doing something is to go out and do it. What does that tell you? When I read those words, getting rid of the fear means I go out and I do the thing I'm afraid of. Everything in that cries action. Take action. Don't let the fear stomp on you. Fear says, hey, this is where there's a little bit of growth opportunity. You want in or you want out? And a lot of people with big, scary things in their life choose to stay stuck. So I ask you, are you going to stay stuck? Or are you going to identify those things you're afraid of, figure out how to make them happen in your world, whether that's coming up with the money to go skydiving, whether it's planning the time to go out and knock doors to find good deals for real estate, whether it's picking up the phone and making that call that you are afraid of. No matter what it is, take the action, schedule it, overcome the excuses, find what you need to make it happen, and make it happen. So here are some specific take action items. Again, nothing on here is very big in and of itself. Sure, it's a fairly long list, but it's just the tip of the iceberg. Action can be anything. Remember when I talked to you earlier about making your bed? Some days that was the only thing that I could start with, getting out of bed and making it. But once I did that, somehow I'd find a way to continue on with the day. And I know some of you say, wow, that's really extreme. Well, if you were blessed not to ever be in that situation, good for you. You have other things you have struggled through and overcome, and that's excellent. But I'm talking specifically right here to people who sometimes get so down and so stuck or so, I hate to always use the same words, but they tend to show up about the same. So afraid, so anxious. Anxiety is just a form of fear. So depressed, so frustrated, so despairing. All of that fits into, here's your starter list. Here's the beginning of what you can do. And I've tried everything on here. I love that these can all be done within a very short amount of time. So set your budget. And I don't mean you have to go through your bank statements for the last year and figure out where you overspent. I'm just talking about, oh, okay, my mortgage payment or rent is this much. My car payment is this much. This is how much I need to spend on food every month. Here's my insurance. And you just itemize everything that you need to have in your budget for the month. And if that's all you did, maybe 10 minutes writing down all the bills off the top of your head, looking up a couple you might not really remember because they're on auto pay or you haven't looked at the hard bill for a while. You just know roughly how much it is. Prioritize finding out the exact numbers and create an actual budget. 10 minutes. Exercise 5 or 10 minutes. Sometimes I just told myself, okay, I'm just going to do 10 push-ups and 10 sit-ups. That's where I'm going to start. That didn't even take 5 minutes. Start somewhere. It might just be stretching for 5 minutes. Do some toe touches. Stretch your arms. Stand up straight. Get your shoulders back. Take some deep breaths. All of that is stretching the energy up and down your spine and helping your body to process things better. Clean a space. Maybe like my dad. He's one of my efficiency go-tos that I love in this world. So he said, he's 81 now. You know, some days all I can do is just clean a 1 foot by 1 foot space. And if that's all I get done that day, that's good enough. Now that's a good example. And this is the guy that when he was my age, he'd work 14, 16-hour days. Just go, 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 go. And now he's tired. And sometimes he can't do that much. So that's just a really good example of cleaning your space. What can you do? Your desk. Oop, hold on just a second. I got a really dry throat. Sorry, Tyrell, you might want to cut that out of the video, but if not, there you go, everybody. That's what happens when I talk a little bit too long. It must be time to wrap it up. Okay, cleaning a space. Sometimes my desk has been so cluttered that I will just take one pile And I'll just do that pile for that week, and that's it. If that's all you can do, it's good. Now, this making amends, we carry heaviness in us. And when you make amends to someone, whether that's you, to your higher power, your God, your child, a friend you've offended, you're able to free up that energy then. So forgiveness for yourself, for others, it's a beautiful cleansing exercise. Organizing just one box, especially if you've moved recently, you might have 50 boxes you're up against. Just do one, and then the next day one more, and the next day one more, and the next day one more. So remember, it doesn't have to be your whole office. It doesn't have to be your whole garage that is disheveled. It can just be one item, one space, whatever you choose. Is there a call you've been putting off? Is it a work call that you're afraid to make because they might tell you no? Then make the darn call. Just call them and get it over with. Whatever you've got to do to pump yourself up, to get excited for that. Sometimes it's just going through, acknowledging that, yes, I am afraid, but I'm going to do it anyway. Remember that quote from Susan Jeffers. You're not going to get over that fear until you do the thing you're afraid of. So tackle it. Get it done. You don't deserve to carry that energy around. You deserve to be light and free and happy and fulfilled. Paying one bill. Maybe you have a whole stack of them and they are just killing you. Find the one that you can pay now or that you can earn the money to in the next few days or the next week or so and get that bill taken care of. Every time you pay a bill, especially one you're really behind on, and maybe you can't pay it all at once, you set up some payment program. You've got old IRS tax bills. You can set up payment arrangements with them. So sometimes just getting it set up and then being responsible to it month after month until it's paid in full is enough. But you have to get started. You've got to start somewhere when your budget is upside down. Market something. Now, this is just if you need more income and you're overwhelmed by money, what's going to fix that? Cutting out debt, cutting out wasteful spending, making more money, investing so that the money makes money. And these cycles of paying off debt, eliminating things out of your budget, and increasing your income. These are the things that help. Well, everything starts with making more money when you're talking about increasing on the one side before you pay off on the other side. If you can make a sale, if you have a home-based business, if you have something at your house you don't need anymore and you post it online and just get rid of it. Well, marketing is the first part of making the sale. You've got to let people know. Is it a service you have or a product you have or something extra that you have that you're willing and able to sell? And then that is a good step for the day because it's fixing it. That's one thing that might take 1 minute, 2 minutes, an hour. But honestly, if you just market something, usually it's 5 minutes to post it online, maybe 10 if you need to take pictures of it and set up a new account. But again, 5 or 10 minute action items on here. And then read to your children. It can be a short book. Maybe it's a piece of a chapter. If it's an older child, then it's a longer book. But reading does something magical. And this can shift your energy from I'm a bad parent to look, I can do something that connects my child and myself. So this reading is not only educational, it's also spiritual. It's very energetically connecting, therefore emotionally and mentally healthy for you and the child. So that's one of my favorites as well. We do offer different types of coaching. If any of this is stuff that you need more of, this is just a taste. This is a taste of what we do. We have real estate investing coaching, everything from wholesaling, fixing and flipping houses, how to buy rentals, how to figure cash flow, how to analyze deals to make sure that they're good, how to build your team, all sorts of things that are related and intertwined throughout the real estate investing process. Life coaching, we have the personal development, which would be more like your getting out of debt, your money management, your time management. We also coach on organizational skills. So if your house is overwhelming, your physical space, your accounting, your bills. We have people we can refer you to as well that we know and trust to help you tackle some of those things that are weighing down on you. And then relationships, these personality types that we have differences in. We have strengths, we have weaknesses, understanding what our strengths and weaknesses are and how we can love and support people with their strengths and weaknesses. Oh, wow. That was one of my favorite, and I mean very favorite things to learn in this life. When I understood that I do have special gifts and that I am just responsible to share mine and other people have theirs. And when they share theirs, we balance each other, and acknowledging that everyone doesn't have to be like me and I don't have to be like everyone else was a beautiful thing. So we work within those relationships, whether that is spousal, parent to child, your parents to you as a child, or you as a parent to your children. Those are some of the toughest relationships, for sure. They're the closest to home. They push the most buttons. They are the most vulnerable for us. And so these kinds of relationship goals, if you want to have better relationships, and this can be just with yourself as well, or with the Lord. If you want to throw spiritual things in here, I would put that in a life coaching program. How do you develop and then maintain your spiritual practices? Business coaching. We can actually intermingle some of these back and forth, of course, because we are all very holistic, and I take a very holistic coaching program. Maybe you're doing business coaching, but your relationship with your son keeps getting in the way. Then we mix and match those different kinds of coaching into whatever is best for you. So starting up or growing a business, if you're expanding and you're already established, that's great. Sometimes we've had to do hiring and letting go of certain people that were not performing well in certain positions. So we talk through what is necessary, what's best for the business, and also getting the right people hired in the right places based on their strengths that they can bring to your business, especially as you expand, are very important. So we can talk about organizational skills, personality types, and putting people in the business that are best suited. That is a very important thing to do in your business, unless you're the only one in that business. But if you have any kind of business where you have layers of people you're responsible for, whether that's a home-based business or a traditional business, it doesn't matter. Business is business, and we break down what you need in order to increase your income and cut down your liabilities and your output every month. So those are just 3 basic categories, but remember, we can mix and match. So if you need to find us, remember, we're all over. We're on Facebook. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can watch us on Instagram. We'll do little teeny clips, sometimes just a life idea, a skill, a reminder, a tip, a tool. The website is iliveaccelerated.com. And you can always call. Remember, texting is actually best. If you leave a voicemail, sometimes it takes me a little while to get through all those voicemails to get back to you, but a text is, generally speaking, much faster. And that number is 801-809-2764. So I hope that you have gleaned something from this, even if it's just that you got reminded of things you already know. That's a valuable thing. If you picked up a new idea, if anything resonated well with you, if you think, oh, I should just try that, do it. Try it for a month. See if your life is different. I encourage you to do that. I challenge you to do that, because if we aren't challenged in learning and growing, what are we really doing? So yes, I challenge you to take 1 or 2 of these ideas and start using them in your life and in your family environment. So thank you. Good luck with everything. If you desire a consultation just to see what it is that maybe you're struggling with and what we can put together as a program for you, there's my number right there. I'm offering you a free 30-minute consultation. You can talk about whatever you like. It can be business, real estate, addiction recovery, grief counseling, divorce, loss, anything in any category of your life coaching. So remember that 8 that we went through? You've got your spiritual life, your personal life, your family life, your friendships and social life, your money management and your budgeting, anything at all. We can just assess where you're at, what you need help with, and go from there. So be super blessed, and thanks for coming tonight.